Hey, what's going on, guys? XpertFusion here, and today we got Season 1, Episode 13 of the Walking Dead Telltale TV adaptation series. This episode is titled Torn Apart. So, to kind of, I guess, give a little description as to where the characters are at right now, since, it is nice to do something like this, just kind of explain what's going on with the characters, where everyone is, what characters are left, because some people might, have not seen the previous episode in a while, or whatever. So, right now, as of this point in the beginning of the episode, we got Lee, Kenny, Jordan, Ben, Molly, Vernon, Bree, and Tony all within the classroom right now in the school. They are trying to get this armory door open. That's where they're at right now. Omid, Krista, and Clem are still back at the house, but of course they were interrupted by the guy in the mask, and he held a gun to Omid and has Krista knocked out and Clem basically by hostage right now. And Oberson, obviously, we introduced that character. He is pissed off because he sees a whole crowd of walkers coming to his community, and he knows someone did it, and he just shot Chuck in the face. So boom, that's where we're at. So the episode starts off with the Crawford army lighting up the horde with their guns. Oberson orders them to save ammunition and start using machetes and knives instead. Oberson heads back into his apartment room. The group in the classroom starts splitting up jobs and responsibilities. Lee, Kenny, and Jordan head for the parking garage, in which Molly says there should be a boat there. They can take the boat and maybe attach it to a truck. Vernon and Ben head for the medicine room within the nurse's office of the school. Bree and Tony stay in the classroom and try to get the armory open. Members of the army get trapped in corners and such and start being eaten alive. So basically, the Crawford army is not doing very well against this horde of walkers because they're trying to use melee weapons and it's not helping out at all. The horde of walkers just keeps growing and growing. All nearby walkers from Savannah are even coming within the community because of the gunshots they, were doing before. Two guards from the front gates try to close the gates to keep any more walkers out, but they get cornered and torn open. Molly tells Vernon she has to go do something real quickly, and Vernon tells her to make it slow, because he knows exactly what she is going to do. Oberson sits within his apartment room looking out the window at the chaos. Molly barges into the room and runs at Oberson with her ice pick. He dodges her and grabs a knife off the table and starts swinging at Molly. Lee, Kenny, and Jordan reach the garage. They walk in as they come across two guys. Lee and Kenny pull their pistols up and aim at the two guys. Lee tells them to back up or they'll shoot. Jordan finds rope and says they can tie them up. Kenny says why not just shoot them. Lee says they don't know these people and they aren't a threat right now. Kenny says they can be and will be a threat. Lee says they aren't killers and they won't be. Jordan ties the two guys up to a pole. The man tries to reason with them and says they'll die here anyways because that herd will get to them. Jordan says they'll keep the doors closed. As long as they're quiet, they'll be fine. Kenny checks out the boat. It's attached to a truck in the garage, actually, so that's good for them. Kenny says it looks like it'll run. They stack up some gasoline, an extra battery, and a basket of food and supplies into the boat. Kenny gets the truck running as Lee and Jordan hop in. They open the garage door and close it just as they leave. There's nobody outside of the garage because it's kind of around the corner of the community on the side, so they're pretty easy. They have a pretty easy exit. They exit out a different gate by just smashing through it with the truck. Lee says they can't just leave the others behind to Kenny. Kenny says he's just going to park the truck where the exit to the sewers are so they can just hop back in right after going back for them. They park it to where they need to be. Jordan says he'll stay with the truck and the boat just in case. Lee says they'll need him, so that isn't necessary. They grab some tarp to hide the boat, though, and have it blend in with the area, so no one will take it. Kenny mentions to them that they have a problem. On the way back, this is they're running back to the community, and Kenny mentions to Lee that they have a problem. He says that the boat is only going to hold up to 5 people based on what type of boat it is. He says obviously them 3 and Clem are a must, but who's the one other person that they take? Lee says that's something they'll figure out later as they head back to the community. Molly and Oberson continue to fight. Molly gets the upper hand and slashes her ice pick into his neck. She pushes him to the floor and watches blood pour out of his neck. She then takes the ice pick and smashes it into his face. Vernon and Ben completely pick the medicine cabinet clean. Someone walks in with a gun pointed at Vernon. He seems to recognize Vernon. The man looks at Ben as Vernon quickly drops the supplies and pulls his pistol out and shoots the man in the head. The army continues shooting at the walkers, but they get smaller and smaller after the walkers outnumber them. Some of them just jump into trucks and cars and leave the community, or they hide in their homes. Kenny, Lee, and Jordan return to the community through an alleyway. They are approached by 3 men, 2 of them with pistols and the other guy with a shotgun. Kenny, Lee, and Jordan get to cover behind dumpsters. They start firing back. The men move in on them and get closer just as Molly drops from a balcony behind the men, and she uses her ice pick to stab the first guy in the head, and she grabs the pistol and uses it to shoot the other 2 guys in the back a few times. Molly says, "You're welcome." The 4 return to the classroom just as Vernon and Ben do too. They all explain what they did with the boat and such as Bree lets them know they can't get the damn door open. Lee and Jordan are kind of worried and freaked out by what just happened because they have been killing people. Like, they weren't, getting ready to just slaughter people, but they just saw Molly kill 3 guys in front of them, and they're kind of like, holy shit, that's kind of how they're feeling right now. They all keep trying to get the damn door open. Ben keeps watch in the alleyway, or in the hallway of the school as he notices a door that has a decent amount of sunlight coming in. He looks out the window and sees a gun laying on the floor. He opens the door just a little bit as the school alarm goes off. The walker herd approaches the school as it hears the school alarm going off and smashes through the front glass doors. Ben sees this and runs back into the classroom to warn the others. He says it's all his fault. Kenny continues to bang on the door and try to get it open as Bree, Tony, and Jordan hold back the main door. Ben keeps going off how it's always been his fault, not just here, but also before. Lee tells Ben to can it. Ben tells Kenny it was all him. Kenny questions what the hell he's talking about. Ben admits to being the one to make the deal with the bandits. Therefore, he's the reason they attacked and why they all died. Travis, Katja, Duck, even Carly. Kenny runs at Ben and says, "You fucker, you got my whole family killed. I'm gonna kill you." He's freaking out. He's screaming. Jordan and Lee hold him back. Lee says he can kick his ass later if he really wants to, but right now they can't do that. Kenny tells Ben the boat only holds 5 people, so they might as well leave his ass behind. The door is barged open by walkers as they rip Bree to shreds, biting her throat out. Vernon stands in shock as Lee pulls Vernon out through the armory door with the others. They see that the armory is basically cleared out except for a shotgun. Lee takes the shotgun as the group head upstairs towards a supposed exit that Vernon said was there. The group head up the stairs as one of the last steps, Lee falls through the wooden floor. He's now stuck on the staircase between the large group of walkers that were heading up the stairs. He uses the shotgun to take them out at close range and switches to a cleaver dropped by Ben from above. Lee goes ham on the walkers while walking up the stairs like a badass. He reaches the top as the floor collapses even more right when he gets up. Ben ends up falling, but Lee catches him last minute. He is being held over the edge of this destroyed staircase over a gigantic herd of zombies. Or walkers, not zombies. Lee tries to pull him up, but Lee only has one arm to help him because the other arm is holding onto the side. Jordan comes to help as walkers approach them. Jordan pulls both of them up as Kenny helps and shoots the walkers off of them. They all leave out the window and head to the truck with the boat. Lee, Kenny, Jordan, and Ben notice that Vernon, Molly, and Tony are completely gone. They abandoned them. They assume they just went ahead of them or something. They reach the area where the boat was, and the boat is completely gone. Kenny freaks out and starts cursing. Lee says they don't have the keys, though. Kenny says they must have hotwired the truck or something. Lee says he knows where their people are head up because he was there with Molly. They all know. Chances are they haven't left there. Kenny says, "Let's go back right now then." Lee says he has to get back to Clem and make sure she's alright. He tells them 3 to go ahead of them, try to reason with them, don't go in all violent. Kenny says you know that won't work. Lee says they aren't the enemy. Lee says maybe he shouldn't have said the boat only holds 5, because obviously that decided to make them freak out and take it themselves. The group splits up. Lee makes it back to the house and goes inside, but he can't find anyone. He ends up finding Krista and Omid locked inside of a laundry room, like a small laundry room closet type thing. Omid freaks out and talks really fast while trying to explain what happened. Krista calms him down and tells Lee what happened. Lee asks who the person is and what he looked like. Krista says he was wearing some sort of a ski mask, so she doesn't really know, but she's pretty sure it was a guy. Lee notices that she left behind her walkie-talkie. Lee helps Krista and Omid up, and he tells them what happened to Kenny and the others and says they have everything that they stole from the others. He questions how Omid is feeling, though, and Krista says his immune system is pretty damn good at fighting off infections, I guess. And she used some household remedies as well. Lee goes off into the backyard to look around for clues as to where the hell Clem could be, as he finds her hat behind a dumpster. He goes to pick it up, and a walker jumps from behind the dumpster and jumps on Lee as Lee knocks it off and stomps on its head. Lee looks at his shoulder, and he notices that when that walker jumped onto him, it took a nice, not really major bite, but decently good enough bite out of his neck. Or not his neck, like his shoulder sort of area. Krista and Omid come outside and see Lee looking at his shoulder. They say, "What the hell happened?" Lee takes a few seconds to process what just happened as well. He kind of snaps out of it and says he's going to find this son of a bitch and he's going to kill him. Clem's walkie-talkie goes off suddenly as Lee quickly answers it. The man puts Clem on as she tells Lee to help. Lee asks what the hell he wants. The man on the walkie says, "I would be very careful with whatever the hell you decide to say next." And boom, end of episode. That is the end of episode 13. We have 3 more episodes left of this season, and there are some pretty exciting episodes. So yes, Lee is bit. So is he going to die? I don't know, probably, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. Any Walking Dead fan kind of knows what happens when you get bit on the shoulder like that. But it'll all work out in the end. To me, I feel as though this story from the beginning is Clementine's story. That's how it was in the game. That's how it is going to be in the show. And I know a lot of people were saying, oh, you should keep Lee alive for this iteration of the series. But to me, that takes away a lot of what Clementine is. Because if you keep Lee alive, it doesn't develop Clementine into the character she becomes, you know? So Lee's character was a good sort of stepping off point for Clementine. But from the rest of the story onward, it's Clementine's story, and that's what it's going to be. And keeping Lee there as the main character is going to take away from Clementine being the whole purpose of this show, the main purpose of this show in my eyes. So it's still an exciting couple episodes left. Of course, we have some more Lee coming up. You know, there's some great shit that didn't even happen in the game that I have planned for these next 3 episodes. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in my next one. Peace out.